Hey everyone, I'm back and super excited to share with you another incredible build. This one involves an obscure Disney prop from one of my all-time favorite rides, the legendary Jungle Cruise in Adventureland at Magic Kingdom. Today, we're taking a closer look at a seriously cool piece, the tarantula that's captive inside that rustic wooden cage, which can be seen right before you board your riverboat jungle adventure. So grab your popcorn, hold on tight, and get ready, because this expedition is about to get wild. Let's go! Before I embark into any fabrication, I always start things off with a couple of thumbnail sketches to bring this iconic piece to life. At this stage, the final details aren't the focus, it's all about capturing the overall shape of the prop, along with key dimensions and notes that will guide the build. After creating the thumbnail sketch, I refine the model in AutoCAD, assembling all the components in 3D to ensure a perfect fit. Each module is then assigned a part number and fully dimensioned for my cut list. Our adventure kicks off with weathering the lumber to give it an authentic aged look. To achieve this, I'm using a medieval-looking club with several drywall screws embedded in the tip. I start with the 1 by 1 inch bottom frame, carefully punching small holes into the wood using the screw tips. Then, I drag the club across the surface, carving deep, rough scratches to simulate the natural open grain of aged wood. This technique adds depth and texture, making the weathering effect even more convincing. To unify the wood fibers and enhance the weathered look, I use a brass wire brush. By vigorously brushing across the surface, I smooth out the rough textures, creating a more natural and seamless aged appearance. Using a chop saw, I make a precise 45-degree miter cut on one end of the weathered bottom frame. I then measure and mark the required length for the second mitered cut. To ensure accuracy, I align both pieces together and use a machinist square to scribe a precise pencil line for the opposing angle. At this stage, I use my combination square to mark an accurate 45-degree cut line on both frame pieces. For the opposite corner, align and chop both pieces together. Repeat this step for the remaining pieces to make our bottom frame. Since the original prop has a rustic, imperfect look with rough joints and uneven edges, I use 80 grit sandpaper to round off any sharp corners, replicating the aged appearance of the original cage. With the mitered cuts rounded off, I use sandpaper to smooth out any remaining rough spots on the surface of the wood frame, ensuring a more natural, weathered look. Now, it's time to assemble the bottom frame of our cage. I begin by securing one piece in a corner clamp, then apply a small amount of yellow wood glue. Pressing the corners together helps evenly distribute the glue across both surfaces. To ensure a strong bond, I add a bit more glue. Carefully align the mitered corners and tighten the clamp to hold everything firmly in place. Using a pneumatic nail gun, secure the corner with brad nails for a strong, durable bond. With 3 sides assembled, it's time to attach the final piece to complete the bottom frame. Position the last section into both corner clamps, carefully align each joint, and tighten the clamps to hold everything securely in place. Wipe away any excess glue, then use the brad nail gun to fasten both corners, ensuring a strong and sturdy bottom frame. Loosen the bottom frame from both clamps, and here's what it looks like. Off camera, I cut the internal bottom frame in the same way as the outer bottom frame. These will hold the bars in place. Using 1 by 2 wood, weathered to match the outer one, I trim it to fit the inside perimeter and drill 1/2 inch deep holes for the dowels. I then check the hole depth for accuracy with a micrometer. Once verified, the remainder of the holes are drilled. Repeat this step 3 more times to finish the internal frame. Then glue and stitch all 4 pieces together using the corner clamps like in the previous steps. And here's what the internal bottom frame looks like. Carefully apply glue and slide both frames inside one another. Use a rubber mallet to gently tap them into place, ensuring they reach the desired depth. Check the depth with a gauge that will act as the cage floor. Pay attention not to hammer too far, as you'll need to slightly pull the frames apart to achieve the perfect depth. Once the correct depth has been achieved, use the brad nail gun to secure the bottom frames in place. To make the bars that will house our tarantula from escaping, I trimmed 20 pieces of 3/8-inch wood dowels to the proper length. To ensure the dowels fit the upper section of the frame, I'm using a pencil sharpener to taper the top ends, making the assembly process easier later on. Here, I'm gluing all 20 wood dowels to the bottom frame of the cage. Be sure to clean up any excess glue and keep the dowels straight to ensure a smooth and seamless fit when installing the matching upper frame. Off camera, I fabricated the upper frame that will secure the cage together. Once the upper frame is aligned with the dowels, gently tap them with a small rubber mallet until they reach the desired depth. Be sure to check the heights to ensure they are consistent across all points. This is what the cage looks like when the top and bottom frames have been joined together. To complete the look, I'll be recreating the sign that identifies what's inside the cage, just like the original prop has. And this is what it looks like after a little club-induced weathering. To create the functional top access door, I used 2 small antique brass hinges, a 4-inch padlock hasp, a heavy-duty steel D-ring, and an antique bronze padlock with a skeleton key. To sell the effect, I will need to weather them in order to match the actual prop. To do so, I'll be using Rust-Oleum's Rusty Metal Primer Spray Paint, followed by 3M's Super 77 Spray Adhesive, and Rust-Oleum's Flat Black Primer Spray Paint. To achieve this effect, start by applying the rust-colored primer in an even coverage and set it aside to dry. Next, spray a layer of adhesive over the primer to create the base coat texture. I prefer a moderately thick coat to achieve the aged look I'm aiming for. Once that's done, let it cure. Now that the spray glue has hardened, reapply a second coat of the rust-colored primer. Finally, lightly dust it with the flat black primer to further enhance the effect. Be careful not to spray on too much, or you'll lose the illusion. And there you have it, the final rusty hardware that will bring this prop together. To create the top access door, I measured the openings and subtracted the thickness of the hardware to be used. Then I weathered it using the medieval-looking club with the drywall screws embedded in the tip. Finally, I tested the hardware for fit to determine its placement, then uninstalled it and set the door aside for staining. Afterwards will be to trim the inner floor to size, weather it, and glue it into position. Off camera, I stained all the wooden components with an oil-based Minwax stain. Once it cured, I lightly distressed the surface with steel wool to create a sun-weathered effect. Finally, the last step of the assembly is to cut, bend, and insert the chicken wire into the cage, replicating the look of the original prop. And now, presenting, for the first time anywhere, the main event, the head honcho, the piece de resistance, our eight-legged furry superstar, the one and only, the Tarantula. And there you have it, the completed cage tarantula, bringing to life a piece of the magic from Disney's Jungle Cruise. If you enjoy content like this and would like to support the channel, head over to my Etsy shop at toyandpropmasters.etsy.com, where you'll find unique treasures like this and other hard-to-find items. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, comment, and share. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.